Shoot.
I got a little
Mary
nervous.
Lou showing us up. We don't like that shit.
I do what I just like.
Recording. All right. Well, damn. I already blanked.
I feel better already.
Hey, welcome back to Too Hard, Too Fast, the podcast with strong opinions about things that we may or may not know too much about in order to broaden perspectives. Today's episodes, Tuesday and Thursday, we have a special guest because actually we know a lot about what she does. Well, actually, we just know a lot about eating. She does the cooking. She's Chef Mary Lou Davis.
Mary Lou.
I would like hit him with it right now if I could.
Ooh, there you go.
Chef Mary Lou Davis. She works for Whiskey Cake. And if you're a fan of couch potatoing and just been watching a lot of TV, you will recognize her from this season 19 of Hell's Kitchen with Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah.
Who's to blame for this? Boiled meat.
It's me, Chef. I'm from Texas. Like, if I don't know how to cook a steak, they'll probably kick me out. She'd throw that back in my face and be like, bloody hell, you purple-haired witch, why did you give me this steak? And I'd be like, Chef, no.
Or actually, in this podcast, these part 1 and part 2, we're going to talk about what got Mary Lou into cooking, besides being hungry, and how it was to be on Hell's Kitchen, and how Gordon Ramsay is in real life.
Man.
We're going to see if we can get any secrets out of her.
I know,
We'll
right?
But with that said,
We'll see what happens.
that's why we got the bubbly. But with that said, sit back, buckle up, let's go. Too hard, too fast. Boom.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Welcome to Too Hard, Too Fast.
Too hard, too fast.
Too hard, too fast.
Too hard, too fast.
Welcome to Too Hard, Too Fast.
Welcome back to Too Hard, Too Fast, when we are double fisted on that ass.
Woo!
That was perfect.
Ooh, I totally dripped out. And
I felt good about that.
The podcast of the century. Right.
Hey, 2H2Fers, this episode with Mary Lou Davis is sponsored by Standard Proof Whiskey. They also sent us their Texas Pecan Rye Whiskey for us to try on the podcast, for them, and give it a rating. I say us, but Worm, I'm sorry. I'll ship you a shot glass?
UPS, bro. UPS. Next day, overnighter.
They also gave us this gift right here, this bottle can opener. There's only one. Again, Worm, I'm sorry.
Cut it in half. Give me the circle part.
But they gave us 2 stickers. So I can send you a sticker.
All right. Sounds good. With a shot and half of the bottle opener. Sounds good.
Hey, we're going to try this with Mary Lou Davis on the podcast. But I do want to let you know, downtown Nashville, they have a location. It's where they infuse and bottle their stuff on site. You can try all their liquors. Standard Proof Whiskey, thank you very much for sponsoring this episode of Too Hard, Too Fast podcast.
Thank you. Pecan. Rye. Try it. So, Mary Lou, as you could tell, we're fat asses. We love to eat. What do you think of that?
Hey, I layered up a little
any
bit.
Any nutritional advice you have?
Because
we'll probably ignore it.
I mean, all right. Let's see. You know, they talk a lot about the green leafy vegetables. You notice I say they because I don't even follow these rules. Most of the time, if you think I ate today, I walked around the kitchen, I grabbed like a piece of flank steak from the grill, and I just like shoved it in my mouth and ate a milkshake. That's all I had today.
Nice. That's
like a cup of coffee. And I was like, man, you should really like have some water, some vegetables. And I was like, okay. And I bought some vegetables. They're in the cooler. I don't know if I'm gonna cook them, but I attempted. So I'm gonna tell you that you should attempt to have green leafy vegetables.
All right,
kale's great.
Yeah. All right. Hey, thanks for the advice. I like that.
Welcome.
Well, that was a question I would have asked her later on. Maybe, I don't know. I was wondering, do chefs like want to cook for themselves? Since you guys are always cooking for other people.
A lot of the times I have to like be in the mood to cook. So sometimes I'll come home and I'm like, there's one dish I want to make it, and so I'll go and like I'll be inspired by something and I'll make it. So, but that doesn't happen all the time. A lot of the times, like I come home and I'm tired and I eat popcorn for dinner if I have dinner, or I drink a bottle of champagne for dinner, or I just eat some rice. But for these past 4 days, since like this cold front has come down, I have just been whipping it up. You know, it's been a chop challenge in my house every single day. I was like, I didn't even know I could do that. You surprised yourself, Mary.
Hey,
well, because you were closed in with this crazy Texas weather that we just had, right?
No sense.
I know. Hey, let's go back to the champagne. So, what are you drinking now?
Right now, when I'm drinking, just a little bit of bubbles. If you know anything about me, you know Mary likes champagne. I mean, I'll meet people and they'll ask me like my drink of choice, and I'll ask for champagne, and they're like, "Man, you're so classy." And I'm like, "You haven't seen the way I drink it." That's
We'll
when
still think you're classy.
Thank you. It's the bubble.
Well, this is perfect for Too Hard Too Fast because we were just talking about this the other day. Like when we open up a bottle of wine, we don't bother to put it in a glass because we know we're gonna kill the bottle.
Why have enough wash?
Exactly. That's exactly what Worm was saying. Why have to wash another dish?
Exactly.
Worm, you get it.
Worm gets it. So what is the percentage? What is it called? And what is the percentage of alcohol that you have in there?
This is La Marca. I just got it at my neighborhood HEB because I went in real quick because everything is gone. And the percentage of alcohol it's only 11%. So I can drink this whole bottle and still be fine.
Nice, that's what's up.
I know. I think about these things, you know?
No, not at all. We're the same way. It's all good. Look at George with his damn bottle over there.
And I also got this one right here from when I already sorted. And you know, this is that Henny VSOP because she is very special. And this one's 40% alcohol. So what is that? That's 80 proof.
Yeah.
That's 80
And you
proof.
can drink that whole bottle and still be fine, still be classy.
Define classy. Things will change.
Well,
right.
you know what? I think in that case, we should take a shot before we fully get started.
Okay, I got you.
All right, let's do it.
We should. Hey, Mary Lou, just very quick. I'm gonna take off my mask before I take it off. If George gives you a Too Hard Too Fast face mask, would you wear it?
Claro, of course I will.
Yeah. All right,
Yeah.
George, gotta send it.
George,
I'll
listen.
send it over.
All
We'll get it. We'll get your contacts and I'll
Hey.
send it over.
And I'm feeling a little sick, but oh well. Drinking time.
So understand.
Well.
Wait, what's mine?
You gotta cover it up. Whatever you gotta do.
Oh, my bad. Hey, there's a digital.
Okay,
It goes digital now, so just careful. Hey, salud. So Mary Lou.
Hey.
So
Cheers.
It's just so smooth.
yeah.
Like it doesn't. My friend, okay, so my sous chef bought me the Henny VSOP, and then he also bought me just regular Henny, and then I got another sous chef, and he bought me the Henny Black. So then I had my friends come over, and we each took a shot of a different Henny. And after drinking this one, I'm like, damn, I can't go back. I can't. Like my wallet is making me. Like if it wasn't for that, like I was just this bitch is smooth. I had the Henny Black, and I was like.
So that's like a higher. I've only had one kind of Hennessy, and I think I've only had it in spring break, and it was mixed with something else, a hypnotic. It was and it was like the Hulk. I think that's what they called it. Yeah, so that's the only time I've ever had Henny.
I make my own drink actually. I call it a Scripper's Delight with a K, Scrippers. And so what it is you get your Henny and then you get champagne and just a splash of pineapple juice, but you gotta play Juicy J in the background. Slaps every time. That's how you get the party started.
I would have to try that. I'm not much. I'm a whiskey drinker, or when I can afford it. Usually it's vodka, my drink of choice.
There's nothing wrong with that vodka. Throw it in a milkshake and then you got a mudslide.
Oh, there you go. Sure.
I'm innovative. I am.
So
Man,
not
a
only
chef
are you-
and a mixologist. That's what's up. Shoot.
Okay, so you know what? Before we're moving on, let's give me a rating for that bubbly that you had.
For this one that
And
I
we're gonna go. I'm sorry, I should have said.
Yeah, George, you didn't explain the rating system.
So you're
More
gonna
rules, Mary Lou,
judge
more
it.
rules. You know, that's how George is.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He'll hold you back.
rules.
He holds me back. Go ahead.
That's why everybody loves Worm, and usually everybody's like, "Yeah, it was fine meeting you, George." So judging on the label, the price versus the percentage of alcohol,
Okay.
and the taste,
The price?
and the price point, what would you rate it between 1.0 to 2 using decimals? 2
Damn.
being too hard, too fast, that's the best.
Damn, I see what you did there. That was smart.
I came up with it. Thank you.
Whatever. Rules
It
have,
was a collaborative effort.
All right. Okay, Lamborghini Mercy. I'm gonna give this La Marca Prosecco, which is an Italian sparkling wine. I do know that. I'm gonna give her a solid 1.7. The price, it's only gonna be like $14. So
Dang.
she's not that expensive, especially when you go to HEB. She already cold, so I'm like, yeah. So they hit me with that. You're only going to get 11% for your alcohol, which means I can finish the whole bottle. I got at least 4 mimosas in here. And it only cost me $14. And it tastes really good. Like, don't hit me with that Andre or whatever that other one is. It's like $4 because that should give you a hangover. But I could drink 2 of these and there's no hangover in the morning.
That's what I got to try that. I don't think I've ever tried that.
That was good.
Mimosas.
And if I get a hangover, I'm going to be pissed, Mary Lou. All right? I'm going to be pissed.
You know where I work? Come visit me. I'll feed you.
All right. Hey, you better feed me then. There you go.
Like I gave him
Make
this
it go away.
hangover. I got you.
All right. Sounds good.
1.7. So 1.7 means that if that HEB that you got that from does not have it, you're going to go ahead and drive to the other HEB just for it.
It's right next to it.
Perfect.
It's not even a far drive, so I got that. I'm like, they have another one.
Wormsers, what are you drinking?
All right. Well, I guess I'm supporting another Four Corners Brewing beer. I don't think I've tried this one yet. El Grito. All right. Do you guys have El Grito?
No.
Oh, no. Or do you have a Grito?
Not in me. I haven't had a Grito in a while. Just blowing up the speakers on Zoom.
Ni modo. Screw it. Let's see. We're too hard, too fast, dude. Right, Mary Lou? Too hard, too fast. Do a grito. George, Mary Lou, do a grito. Just
man, my sister's been trying to do that forever.
Oh, there you go. Okay. George, she did it. You can't leave her hanging.
Come on, George, come on.
Here we go. Ready. Rules. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, rules, bitch. She's a bitch. Yeah, rules.
No, I'm going to do it. Here we go. Ready?
Okay. That's good.
It's that Mexican blood straight from across the border.
Working on it. I'm working
Oh,
on
I should have.
My sister's
I've done it with my guitar right here.
Whoa. We authentic AF.
All right. So 4.4%. I like the label. The price is all right. I think it's a little bit higher than other ones, but it tastes good. I give it like a 1.67.
Man, 1.67. What was the alcohol?
It's low, 4.4. Nah, man, okay, 1.63.
Damn, always changing up the score, the rating.
I know, it's because that's too low, man. 4.4. It's all right. It's no 11%, you know what I mean? So.
All right, so I'm drinking up today.
And then very quick, I'm also drinking some Evan Williams, some bourbon whiskey and stuff.
That's what I'm talking about.
35%, cheap. Hey, let's do another shot. Let's do another shot, everyone.
All right.
This one I like. It's smooth. 1.75.
All right. So this episode is sponsored by Standard Proof Whiskey. Mary Lou works for Whiskey Cake, right? So there's kind of like a little connection there. There you go. They sent this bottle over for us to try, so I'm gonna try it right now. To Texas Pecan. The label's pretty cool. They're from Nashville, Tennessee.
Oh.
So to me, I don't know if this is what they wanted to do, but it almost looks like a record label kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know, but in Nashville, home of country music. It's actually really good. Really good. I think I'm gonna. If I kill this bottle and I forget to close out the podcast, I am so sorry.
I'll let you know.
But I'm gonna give it a 1 point.
Mary Lou, you say pecan or pecan?
I say pecan.
Pecan?
Yeah, I say pecan. I'm from the Midwest, and it just never left.
All right, we'll get into that right now. We'll get into that.
All right, let's 1.85.
Oh shit!
That's pretty biased because they're sponsoring, but
They're not. I'm not being biased at all.
So it's a 1.85, which means that if they don't have it at that liquor store, you're going to the next liquor store, right?
I'm gonna have to go all the way to Nashville. But luckily they ship. If you want to buy it, they ship. So just look up standardproofwhiskey.com. They'll ship straight to your door. This actually came right before the snow hit, so it was perfect.
Wow, perfect.
Good timing.
Right.
You should have just left it out in the snow to cool down.
Hey, I got some pictures, Worm.
Yeah.
I took some pictures for the Instagrams. I know what I'm doing a little bit. Now I'm just gonna drink this up. Drink a little bit of the Miller Lite. I'm not gonna rate this because it will really disappoint a lot of people.
Are we all double fisting right now?
We are.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. I thought so, guys.
And you're the reason for that.
Hmm.
All right, so shots.
All right, shots.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Salud.
Worm, what are you drinking? Let's go.
No, I'm drinking some Evan Williams from here, some bourbon whiskey. Mary Lou, you like whiskey?
Not that much.
No, that's what I figured.
I'm not a big whiskey person. Like we'll do these little whiskey like tastings at work, and they're like, "All right, here's this whiskey," and I just show up because I'm like, "You ain't gonna do shit without me," and I'll taste it. I'm like, "Oh, that's good," and I walk away. I'm like, But I refuse.
So at Whiskey Cake, I've never been. I'm sorry. I don't know. I've never had the opportunity to go. I'm what you would call lower socioeconomic. I'm kidding. I've never had the opportunity to go, but I've heard a lot of people talk about it. And when I hear it's like Whiskey Cake, I thought it was just like a dessert place. I didn't know if it was like a...
No, like the Cheesecake Factory. And you're like, there's more than cheesecake there? Yeah.
Exactly.
Right? People know.
Is there really whiskey and cakes? Is that a...
There's whiskey and there's the whiskey cake. So the whiskey cake was so good that they named the restaurant after it. And it's like an English style topping tour. But inside the cake itself is no whiskey. But we top it with a toffee sauce that has whiskey in it. And at the base of it is a bourbon anglaise that has whiskey in it. That's it. And I was like, man, yeah, there's about a good, for a one-time recipe, there's like almost 5 cups of whiskey. And I was like, God damn.
Is that a lot?
It's a good amount for like the recipe. It's, you're expecting it to be like, hey, I'm making a one-time recipe. This is gonna be like 6 gallons. No, it's like 2 gallons worth.
Dang, that sounds like a normal Saturday for me.
Exactly, for you. Then
No,
we
I'm
got
just kidding.
people coming in and they're like, is the whiskey in the cake? And I'm like, no, ma'am, it is not. But it's all over that sauce. You want me to throw some extra sauce on it for you? And she's like, yeah.
Can I get a little more of the sauce, please?
I got you. You want something to go? You want it on the side? You want it on top? Where you want it?
Hey, Mary Lou, so you said you're from the Midwest. I was under the impression you were a San Antonio girl.
Yeah, you
maybe
deceived
now.
us, so we got to cut this short now. Nah, just joking. But where were you born? Where were you raised? That was all that.
Okay, so I was born in Logansport, Indiana, really small town. It's where the middle school, high school, elementary school is all named after the town. Everybody know everybody. Really not much going on. Whenever I meet people from small towns, I'm like, what's the name of your grocery store? Because that's how you know. Yeah, we in Texas, we have HEB. I'm from Indiana. I'm like, we had Marsh. We had Martin's, and if you had money, then you got to go to Martin's. So that was cool. Yeah, I would go to Martin's. I couldn't buy nothing, but I'm like, this shit is good in here. And I would just work my way down to Marsh, and you had 2 Marshes, the good Marsh and the bad Marsh.
Oh, shoot.
I live by the bad Marsh, so it's all right. But I've been raised in San Antonio. So I've been in San Antonio since I was 5 years old for so it's 20 years now. And my mother would send me back to Indiana as soon as summer would start because I'm an only child. So it's like if school's over, like, what is it? May 24th, May 25th, I was in Indiana. And if school started August 30th, August 29th, I was back. I had no time. So I claimed that I was raised by both of them. Till I was 18, I didn't have to go back no more. Thank God.
So you have family in both cities? Okay.
What would
you,
I'm sorry. What is your preference now that you live in both? Maybe that's a tough thing, but I'm talking more like weather-wise. I'm not judging this weather that we just had.
San Antonio all the way. As soon as my mom moved me here, I'm like, I'll never go back to Indiana. Like the snow was nice. It was nice for like a good 30 minutes, you know, and you're like, look, it's snowing. This is awesome. It's cold. I don't like this anymore. I got to wear too many clothes. What is a coat? What is a coat?
That's it. We didn't
a couple of weeks ago, right? Where
for the snow that just came down, we didn't have like any proper shoes for it. I didn't have gloves. I was using socks as gloves.
Who has gloves?
Exactly. Apparently, my wife has everything that she needs because she was out there perfectly bundled up. Me and my son just trying to figure it out. Hands freezing, going, okay, we're ready to go back in by the fire already.
Where they're all red as shit, and you're like,
Yes, and then we're trying to put it by the fire, like just so like it can like warm up, and it would sting, and so my son's going, ah. So clearly we had no idea what the heck we were doing.
I don't know. No, I've been.
And then we were flushing. We had a pipe burst, so we were boiling snow so we can flush the toilet. TMI, but yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
That's okay. We survived. We made it through. I still think we were one of the luckier ones because we only had that one thing, quick fix, and you know.
Yeah, I know. God bless others who had it. Yeah, way worse stuff. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for bringing me down, George. Let's shoot. So, there you go. Anyway, so Mary Lou, you went to high school though in San Antonio though, right?
I did.
All right. We always ask, what high school did you go to?
I went to two. So I went to MacArthur and Wagner.
Oh, they're both bad. Dang. I just joke. I don't know. I didn't go to high school in San Antonio, so I don't know. Is that good or bad?
Where'd y'all go to high school at?
I'm from Eagle Pass, Texas.
Different EP. I'm from El Paso.
You already told me you was gonna stop talking to me because I wasn't from San Antonio. I should stop talking to you.
Hey, that's what we do. That's what we do.
Yeah, we came to San Antonio for college, and I ended up staying. Worm ended up going off to bigger and better things.
It's all right. Nah, not really. I'm trying to get back to San Antonio, but we'll see. I'm in West Texas right now. So.
West Texas?
Yeah. But so anyways, what the two high schools, so are those good or bad high schools? Or which one do you like more?
Okay, they're completely different.
Oh, really?
So, yeah,
that's like the good Marshall and the bad Marsh. Is it
yes,
like
it's very similar to that because you know
really?
I got one with like nothing but white people, a couple like blacks, Latinos like sprinkled in, and then you got the other one where it's nothing but black people and Latinos and like a couple white people sprinkled in. Like I found them all. They were in drama club. I was like, that's where y'all been hiding.
Oh shit!
I was looking for them. So it's like it came to the point where like I told you, I'm from Indiana. I went to like Bradley Middle School, it's a white middle school. I went to nothing but like white elementary schools, and then my first high school year with a whole bunch of white people. Like I said, a couple of us sprinkled up in there. My mom took me to New York to go visit like the family during the summer for like a week because that's the only time she kept me. And then she gave me this 100 question test that she wrote herself. And she gave me like all these scenarios because I wasn't used to being around a whole bunch of black people. And she's like, I'm going to help you because you're whitewashed. And I was like, what does that mean? Wow. And she's like, no. Let's go over these things. And so I go to high school in 10th grade. I'm scared to talk to any fucking body because I'm like, everybody's gonna fight me.
So do you mind sharing some of those scenarios she would I guess test you on?
Okay, so one of the scenarios was I was walking with my godbrother, we're like arm in arm, and we're just walking across the hall, and then she like pushes me and she's like, what do you do with my man? And I said, Mom, I don't play this game anymore. And she's like, I'm not your mom. You with my man. And I said, Mom, I don't want to play. And she pushed me again. She's like, I'm not your mom. And I was like, he didn't tell me he had a girlfriend. And she's like, exactly, because men will lie to you and they will tell you what you want to hear. And I was like, I don't like this. Oh, and I'll bring that up. And she's like, I did do that, didn't I? And I said, yes, Mom. I was afraid to talk to my best friend for like a solid 3 months. Everybody I didn't like black people. And I was like, that's not it. I'm just scared. I just don't want anybody to fight me.
So did you get into any fights or?
No, I was on the wrestling team.
Okay. So you could kick everyone's ass.
I mean, I could, but those are the only fights I got in. Otherwise, like everybody just genuinely likes me. It's like, hey, Mary. And I'm like, hi. I think I'm just like really excited and happy all the time. So everybody's left me alone. Like nobody ever wanted to fight me.
Yeah, nice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm totally the opposite. Everybody wants to fight me. Nobody likes me.
That's including me. I don't even know why I do this.
But that's funny. I'm from a high school. I'm from a border town. I was born in Mexico. Was raised in Texas. Nobody knows Eagle Pass, so unless you like gambling, then you know Eagle Pass.
Yeah, I've heard of Eagle Pass.
Yeah, exactly. So my high school was just mostly Hispanics. And so coming into San Antonio was like a culture shock kind of thing. Like I met different kinds of cultures and backgrounds and had to adjust the way I was brought up. So I can see, being schooled into making sure you don't get into any fights.
Yeah, you're lucky you had scenarios and stuff. I just would get my ass kicked until I finally learned.
Until you fucking
how to
learn.
act properly. You're lucky.
Yeah,
I learned my lesson.
I definitely appreciate my mom for all of that. And I was like, you gave me a really fun story to tell. So thanks, Mom. And she's like, I just care. And I was like, no, I know you care.
Yeah.
And where's your mom from, though?
Indiana? My mom's from Indiana, too.
Okay.
So like, she's from Indiana, and I'm glad she moved me out because I could not stay there.
Hey, Mary Lou, so what happened after high school?
After high school, I went to college. I got like a full scholarship to UNT, so over in Dallas.
Nice.
And then after I graduated from there, I went to the
Culinary. Oh, don't jump ahead.
What did you study? How was your experience at UNT?
What was your scholarship?
Did you ride a bike? I heard they all have bikes and all that crap, dude.
I rode no bikes.
But everyone else did, though, right?
Yeah, everybody else had their bikes. I didn't have a bike. I refused.
I thought about going to UNT, but
stopped you.
Should have.
It was too brown.
Yeah, I was too brown. I fit a little bit better in San Antonio. So
I like how you need to shut up. I studied.
You got cut off. You studied what?
Journalism.
Journalism. Okay.
Yeah, I studied journalism for like 2 years. I'm lying.
Then you found out it was fake news, so you went to something else.
I see what you did there. I lied to you. I studied communications, not journalism.
Oh, come on. Oh, another fake news. All right.
For real, though.
Not just joking.
I studied communications, and I wound up on the steps, like crying, and I was calling my mom and said, Mom, I don't want to do this. This isn't for me. And she was like, no, it's okay, baby. You've done this so well. You just need to, she's like, change your mind. Go to a different major. You've already worked so hard. So then the next day I went and I enrolled into the hospitality school, and I'm like, this is it. Because, it's like, it's restaurants and shit. And I was like, this is where I'm supposed to be. So now I have a minor in communications.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. So
well, what made you like, I don't want to do communications anymore? Like, what made you that?
The only reason why I did communications was because I thought it would help me get my own TV show. And that's not what it was, because I wanted to do like my own type of cooking show ever since I was little. And then I remember I was talking to one of the teachers, and she's like, if you can't pass this class, then you're not going to make it in. And if this isn't what you do, then why are you here? And then, I leave crying. I was like, you're right. I hate myself. So, and then I switched over to like hospitality. And I was like, I should have been doing this the entire time, because I didn't even want to go to UNT. Like I was going to go to Johnson and Wales in Miami, which is a culinary school. And I was like, I'm going to buy myself a Spanish daddy and I'll be on the beach kicking it. And then it was like super fucking expensive. And I told you, I already got a full ride to UNT. So I was like, I guess I'll go there.
Nice hospitality. That's cool. Don't they have specializations or no? It's just general.
It's pretty much general, but you like specialize yourself. So it's like, hey, I really like the restaurant aspect, so I'm going to go and do like which one of these classes is more towards that. So I'll do like the working in the kitchen or working on this restaurant class. And it's like, well, I like to do more hotel stuff, so I'm gonna do a focus on like hotel management and hotel stuff. But when you graduate, it doesn't give you like what part of hospitality were you in? No, it's hospitality.
Yeah, okay. No wedge, no nothing. It's just
that's it.
So why culinary? Why food?
Food was like the only thing that I was good at. Like I like to eat, and I couldn't figure out anything else. I mean, when you think about it, it's like, what did you want to be when you grew up? I always wanted to be a vampire, but I couldn't make a living off of that. And then once I figured out, I'd have to kill a bunch of people, I was like, maybe this isn't the right choice for me. And then I never figured out what I wanted to do. And I was in like 10th grade, and we were in home ec or something to that effect. And we were watching the video, and then somebody was on the video was just talking about like becoming a chef. And I was like, I could cook for a living. That's a thing. And then I never looked back. That was it. I just
How old were you? How old were you when you saw that video?
15.
15. Okay, so that's when it all started, when you were around 15.
Yeah. So I knew that I always liked to cook, but I didn't know it could be like a career. It was just something to give me something to eat.
Wow, okay. So what would you cook when you were around that age?
Nothing really good, to be honest with you.
Cereal?
That's a cereal, like my uncle, he taught me what a spread was. So I would jazz up that ramen a lot of the time. I was like, yeah, make it like Uncle Bruce makes it with the hot dogs in it. So I did that. I loved breakfast, like my jam. So my Grammy would make a really good. She's like make little things, eggs and bacon, and then I'm like, Grandma, let me show you about this frittata. How you ready for that? Let me hit you with this omelet right now. I was like, that's your French toast, Grandma? Let's put some of this inside of the French toast. And then it just kind of grew from there.
Wow. And did she like it when you would make it?
Yeah, my grandma.
Or was she nice?
She was real nice. Like she was mean, but she was nice.
Okay.
She was one of those grandmas that wouldn't sugarcoat it. She's like, you're doing a great job. This tastes like garbage. Okay. Thank you. I cried. I would come back and I'm like, all right, let's do it again. You didn't have to say it so harsh like that.
So by the time you got to college and you knew you wanted to do hospitality, were you cooking a bunch of different things, or it was still an interest at that time?
No, I wasn't. So it's like I went from culinary school in high school. Sorry, I went to culinary classes in high school to going to UNT. And I told you, the first 2 years, like I was just doing communications, but I was working part-time at this catering company that UNT had. So I would do like little prep work on the line, or sometimes they would let me cook little things. So it was just like my first introduction, actually learning things, but I wasn't like creating anything. And then I actually didn't fully start cooking like in a kitchen probably until after college.
Okay, so what happened after college? And I'll go into that.
Wait, before that, what was the weirdest thing that you cooked in college as like I'm a broke student and this is all I got?
As a broke student, this is all I got. I would get a lot of things together from like the catering company. And I remember I had made this, I still talk about it to this day. Like we had this leftover steak. And so like, I'm a college student, we ain't get no steak. So I took that steak, so we're going to use that. And they're like, I mean, you can have it. And there was like this day old bread. And I made this fire ass sandwich. And I just wish I could recreate it. I don't know what I did. But if I called my friend up right now and I'd be like, Ian, remember when I made that sandwich? When you make something so good, you got to share it with somebody else so y'all can talk about it. And so like, if I could call him right now, I'm like, you remember I made that sandwich? He'd be like, Mary, that was a good sandwich. But like my roommate now, she moved in a week ago and she used to be my best friend in college. And she still talks about it too. She's like, man, I regret not trying that sandwich you made. I was like, good ass sandwich.
Dang, dude, this is years later. That's crazy.
Years later.
I can see the comments now. Mary Lou, make me a sandwich.
I can throw that on a Sammy. You don't even know. Like, you want that soup too? A little dunk action? I got you. Yeah.
Well, here's why I asked that question, because I had a friend who I swear should have gone to culinary school. But and one friend that shouldn't have. So this one guy.
Yeah, which one am I, Mary Lou? Am I the one who should have or shouldn't have?
You're the one that should have.
I should have, dude. I add hot Cheetos to everything, dude. It makes everything better.
I like that. A little texture, a little heat. Yeah.
And then HEB stole my idea, and they add hot Cheetos to freaking sushi, dude. See, everyone made fun of me, and then HEB does it.
Mary Lou, you need to have yourself avocado hot Cheetos sandwich. That's my wife's like favorite, like guilty kind of like meal, like just like I want to do something disgusting and enjoy it. That's her thing.
All right.
So, anyways, but this friend cooked a brisket in like the dorm room washateria using a slow cooker.
Hey, well, wait. What is a washateria?
I don't know. Did I say it wrong? Where we wash our clothes?
But
A
there's
laundry area?
Yeah, there's a cafeteria and a laundry room.
George tries too hard to be white.
That is messed up.
And it looks like the kitchen and the washer and dryer right next to each other. It's like, all right, this is the range.
Well, kind of. It really was.
Washer and dryer.
It really was. There was microwaves. There was and then there was a washer and dryer. It was like the common area. So it's not called the washateria.
I used to pass out there. It was my favorite place to pass.
What's it called?
Off of those gummies.
Just call it a common area, common room. So
laundry, whatever it was, it was there. That's what he did with a slow cooker brisket, and then beans in a coffee pot. And then I walk into my room. My roommate is making a tortilla, peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and he's hot pressing it using a iron. And so I'm thinking he's ironing clothes, and I go, "Hey, what are you doing?" He goes, "Oh, I think I said like, hey, you're going out tonight." And he goes, "No, I'm making dinner." And I'm like, "What?" Like, yeah, peanut butter and jelly tortilla. You've never had this?
Is that me?
No, none of them were you.
That's not. I don't even know if it's me or not.
No, none of them were you. But yeah, so that's why I was like, there has to be a lot of other people that make weird things during college. Like
I never did anything with like my iron, but because I used to be an RA in college, so I used to have all of my programs, and they would be like cooking programs. So I would get a lot of the students together, and we would just like go downstairs into the common room. But our common room had like a full kitchen in it, and we would just cook in there. And then we would.
Hey, so George and I, we would get it. Well, separate occasions though, but we've gotten in trouble a lot with the RAs and stuff. So we want to hear your crazy RA story. Do you have any crazy RA stories?
My friends have more crazy stories than I do, but I know like there's one day, like it's like the first day when everybody is moving in. And so I have a trainee with me, and I'm just going to let you know that I didn't want this trainee. Like we all get to pick who our trainee is. And there's like 20 of us, and there's only 6 trainees. And so I was like, well, you want these people, you can have them. It's like, I guess I don't want anybody. And they're all like, Mary, will you take her, please? And I said, I don't want her. Like,
hell no.
She's got like a lot of energy. And so they're like, Mary, her energy's going to match yours. I said, I don't want her. And then I remember one of my friends like, Mary, for the love of God, please take her, because I'm going to end up with her. And I was like, fine, I'll do it for you. So I take her, and just this blonde haired, blue eyed, like Southern Texans, real squeaky voice having little girl. She's like, my name's this and that. And I was like, all right, come on. You're mine. So we're like walking down, and we already went through our first week of training before anybody moves in, and we know everything that we're supposed to do for all the protocols. So you do your round. So at 10 o'clock, you just walk through, and you're just trying to make sure that nobody's music is too loud and you don't hear anything that you're not supposed to hear. But it's like, we're all college students too. So it's not like my ears on the door. I'm honestly just walking. I'm like, that's it. We just walk and be like, hey, turn the music down. Hey, that's too much. All right, let's turn the lights off. Just things in the common room. What you do in your room, I don't really care. That's your room. But just don't disturb others. And so we're walking. Somebody has their music loud as fuck. And I knock on the door. And he opens the door, and this huge, just like cloud of smoke just hits us. And then she's looking, she's like, and so I kind of like move her out the way. And I was like, hey, my name's Mary Lou. I'm just letting you know that your music's too loud. And if you could turn it down. He goes, oh yeah, that's cool. So he turns it down, and then we got to go through the entire protocol, but she's panicking the entire time. I'm like, don't say shit. Like, you say something, they're going to stop what they're doing. They're going to put everything away. We're going to get in trouble later for it. And I was like, stop panicking. Just act cool. And she's like, but that's not allowed. I know it's not allowed. Like, I just told you it's not allowed. Like, shut the fuck up. So
so you're a cool RA. Dang.
I just went in, like I still did my protocols, like, hey,
of course.
You gotta turn like the air handlers off so that the smoke still stays up there. Like I felt real bad because I do that to call his mom, be like, hey mom, I know you just dropped me off, but you gotta come get me because I got kicked out the dorms because I was smoking weed. Like that's what
well, George had a big ass party one time. I don't know.
Hell yeah, George.
Yeah, I was not always about the rules, Mary Lou. So what we did.
If only we had an RA like you.
Yeah, one time we did pay off the RA with McDonald's. So we were like, we're about to make a McDonald's run. What do you want? I'll buy you whatever you want. So we did that. And the biggest thing I did was I threw a beer pong party. Tournament, not a party. It was a tournament, like a full-on tournament.
A whole ass fucking tournament?
Different teams. Yes, different teams. What we did was we knocked out the dorm, the whole room, like all the big stuff. We moved it into a different room. We destroyed our beds and put them in the closet, everything against the wall. And then I don't know, can I get in trouble for this? I don't know. So we took... All right.
No more. Do you have your degree? Fuck it. What are they gonna do?
Right?
They're not gonna donate, dude. Fuck that.
Yeah, right.
It's like, hey, watching your podcast.
Yeah.
So what I did is I took this huge where they store drinks, and I put a keg in it, and I put it in the closet. So it was like the campus. I don't know what it was. Like something
cooler?
they used for like events. The campus cooler, like this big old campus cooler. Put a whole keg in it. And put it in the closet, and then took a table from the cafeteria and put it in the room to make it our beer pong table. And then somebody made a big old chart to make the tournament, like everybody, like the squares or whatever it's called. And we just did it, and it was so crazy that I had a late class that night. And everybody was ready to start, and they said, I texted them, I was like, dude, I can't get out early. Like, usually I would just leave class. I was like, all right, I'm done with this, because all I really did was just show up for the test. You know, I was one of those people. But I couldn't leave that night for whatever reason. They're like, no, we're going to wait for you. And that was like the coolest thing. Like, you set this up, we're going to wait for you. And that was like the coolest thing for me. Anyways. So after that, the RA's calling me. He hates this story. We're still friends. He hates this story. He goes, hey, man, you guys are being kind of loud. What's going on in there? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, one of the guys is losing it. He's kind of drunk. We are drinking. Like, I'm sorry. And then, you know, my wife, you know, she was my girlfriend at the time. So I kind of was just like, she's here. So that's the girl voice that you hear. Meanwhile, there was like 15 girls in there. I was like, so she's here. So that's the girl voice you hear. And like, we're trying to like help. And then it got way too loud. But we were right at the last round. Like we were at the championship round. And there was money involved. Like people put money involved for this. And all right, you guys need to get the fuck out. Oh, my dogs. Hold on.
That's fucking funny. Honestly, I don't know if I should be. I'm honestly very impressed.
By what?
As soon as he told me that he got the cake inside, like, how did you get the cake and nobody saw you get the cake inside? So that was very impressive. And he sold the table. Very impressive. I'm just thinking my dorm, and I'm like, how did you get that up the elevator without anybody seeing?
It was just 2 stories.
There was 2 stories.
No
there
elevator.
was a lot of people involved. A lot of people were involved. So like my brother went to college with me. He's like really close to my age. So he helped me out. We threw it with the table. We threw it in my truck and just ran with
like,
it.
Fuck it.
The cake, what we did, we put it in those bins, like the moving out bins kind of thing. And so we're just like, we're just moving stuff, like no big deal. So we brought it in. Yeah, so that happened. We got kicked out. You know, the RA was my friend, so he kind of let everybody go, just like, hey, don't come back. he didn't realize there was a cake in the closet. He still says that if he knew that, then he would have like really like
right, would have really laid into you because that means we get in trouble.
Yeah. The funny thing is, after all that, we had to take the cake out, and it was brought like we had to return it. It was already time to return it, or else we were gonna lose our deposit. So it was kind of one of those like, whatever, like we're done. Let's just run through the halls into the bring the car as close as you can. We'll throw it in the trunk. Okay. So we're doing that, and we're running. And as soon as like we're about to throw it in the trunk, there's a professor walking the same area, and he looks at us, and then looks at the cake, and he looks at us again. And he goes,
"Yeah." Like good job.
And we're like, "Okay, throw it, run!" So we just took off.
Okay, funny.
So there's that. Hey, but it's not about me. It's
George,
about Mary Lou.
Mary Lou. So, anything? If you want to mention anything about college, go for it. If not, what happened after college?
I don't really have anything else fun in college. I had 3 jobs in college, so I mean, I did a lot of work. Then after college, like I went to culinary school, and that's pretty much it. I went to culinary.
How did you manage 3 jobs?
I know.
How did you manage 3 jobs?
Because your girl works.
And what were they?
Okay, so my 3 jobs, I worked at Papado, which you all are from Texas, so
yeah.
I worked at Papado, and I was a server over there, and that was in Dallas. So it was like a 45-minute drive off of 35, and everybody know how much everybody hate 35. Yeah. So I would do that on the weekends. I worked as an RA, and then I also was part of like this council, and we would meet like twice a week. And so those were like the 3 jobs that I had. So like my RA job gave me a place to live. And then my job at Papado was like, I worked at the front of house. I didn't work in the kitchens. I was a server, but it was like my way to get my foot into the door. Whenever I start at a restaurant, I always like to work the front of house first so I can see what's going on. And then I can see what's going on in the kitchen without anybody being like, well, what is she doing? It's like, it's just a server. You know, that's when you get to see what the cooks are really like. Because they're not trying to impress nobody. They're just over there like fucking around all the time. So
well, so you have a very holistic perspective on things then.
Mm-hmm.
Dang, you're smart.
Like, yeah, I do what I can.
Yeah, man. UNT degree right there.
Oh, Kiki.
I read somewhere that you were a dishwasher for a racetrack.
I was. So we have a Retama Park. That was like my first job. So yeah. So in high school, my senior year, I had 2 jobs. Girls stay working, no shit. I had 2 jobs. I worked at a bank because we had a bank in school. And then every Saturday we had to like work. Every 2 Saturdays we had to work at the actual branch. I worked at Randolph Brooks. And then on the weekends, I was a dishwasher at Retama Racetrack. So in the mornings, they would let me prep. But at night, I had to like jump and do dishes. And that was how I got my start.
Dang, that's awesome. So why so many jobs in college if you had a full scholarship?
Oh, because I was just trying to get I had a full scholarship, but it didn't pay for anything else besides like my tuition.
That's true.
But then also I really wanted to do one of my work study with Papado. So I wanted to build like a rapport.
Yeah.
And then like I said, the full scholarship paid for my tuition, but staying in housing paid for all of my housing. So I had to like do whatever it was there so I could stay there for free. And then I had like my other jobs just so I can have a little bit of extra spending money. Because they give us a stipend of like $180 like every 2 weeks, but I spent that on Taco Kabizi all the time.
Nice.
It slaps.
Or Worm, he would spend it on Chachos. Have you been to Chachos?
I've been to Chachos. Yeah, we got that all over here.
Yeah, exactly.
You make better nachos than Chachos.
I like Chachos nachos.
All right, then just making sure.
I was like,
that's what. Worm.
I was about to get mad if you say yeah.
That's what he was. Like everybody knew, like, oh, Worm's coming to the town. Oh, we're gonna eat Chachos. All right, let's do it.
Yeah, man, love Chachos. All right, so what happened after college then?
You went to culinary school.
Culinary school, yeah.
Culinary school. Culinary school, like I feel like it definitely taught me discipline. Because like I went to CIA, which is the Culinary School of America, and it's like the most prestigious culinary school in America. And I went to our like San Antonio campus, and they are strict. So you know, like you're in college, you show up late, it's fine. You don't have all the information, it's fine. Like I show up a minute late and I miss roll call. Like that's a tardy. You get 3 tardies, you fail. And I was like, the fuck? I'm like, that's ridiculous. One girl, her mom died and she missed 2 classes and she had to repeat it. I was like, God damn, this shit is so serious.
Really? Like no leeway.
And it's like you would get all your stuff and all your prep ready in the morning, and if you didn't have what you needed, that was your fault. And I was like, fuck, everybody took all the portion cups. Because when you're first starting, everything is nothing but portions. Like you need 1 pepper cut up this way. And then once you get into the older classes, you're like, I don't need that anymore. Now I can just like cook how I want to cook. So it definitely taught me a lot of discipline, but it's like I'd wake up at like 5:30 so I could get there by 7 o'clock. And like I used to work at Papado at the same time. So I went from being a server at Papado to being a manager at Papado. And I just still worked in the front of house. Like I'm a front of house manager. And I'd work there 4 days a week for like, I don't know how many hours, but I know on Friday it was like my 21-hour day. And I used to hate Fridays because I didn't get home until, I don't know, almost 1 a.m. And like, you know, I'd been up since 5. So bitch was fucking tired. And I remember I would wake up and I call my friend. I'd be like, I don't want to go to school today. And she'd be like, shut the fuck up, Mary. Get up and go to school. And I was like, am I going to see you there? She's like, yeah. She started crying too. She's like, yeah, I don't want to go either. I was like, I'm sleepy. And then now after I graduated, I was like, I miss it.
Dang. How long was culinary school?
18 months.
18 months?
Yeah. 18 months. So like I went 2015 and then I went 2014 and then I graduated in the middle of 2015.
Okay, nice.
And it was a lot. And then I worked at Papado for maybe a couple more years. So I think I spent all in all maybe 4 years.
After culinary school? As a manager?
No, then I got myself into the back of the house. So after culinary school, then I was a kitchen manager for a couple years.
Nice.
I realized that's not where I wanted to be.
Did they promise you that if you finished culinary school, or something that just the opportunity came up?
They led me to believe that once I finished culinary school, I could go to like our like mother location, which is in Houston, and I can work and be part of like the chef team and create things that I was working towards. And after I graduated, that didn't happen. So I was like, you're just going to keep stringing me along until it happens. And I'd seen so many people that were working at Papado. They're like, yeah, they promised me this, but you just got to wait a little bit. And I'm like, well, you've been here for 6 years. I ain't got that type of time. Like, I'm either moving up or I'm moving on. I ain't got time for that.
Yeah,
so then I left and I went to go work at Perry's Steakhouse.
Okay.
So I was the sous chef over there. And then after I left there, because I was there for like 4 months, there was some shady shit going on. I was like, this ain't right. This ain't fucking right. I gotta go.
Oh,
so I left there.
What were they doing? We want to know. Let your journalism part come out.
I found out later because you know I saw some of my connects there, and your girl liked to gossip. Like there was like some drug ring that was going on, and so I was like, I knew something was going on because like the guys would do shit. Well, I would get blamed for it. And I was like, that's not fair. Why am I getting blamed for all the shit that they're doing? And then like they would come in and everybody was all buddy and chummy with each other. And I'm like, no, that's the motherfucker that I had to clean his station last night because his whole ass left and you're not going to do nothing. And it's like, no, that's just Chewy. Why is there always a Chewy? There's always a fucking Chewy. Like, that's just Chewy. And I was like, fuck Chewy.
A bunch of Mexicans, huh?
I'm just saying, Chewy.
I'm just saying. Hey,
were they serving horse meat?
Did you say drug ring? Because if you said that, I'm gonna have to cut all that
out. Maybe there was something going on at Perry's.
Because we'll keep it at that. Because at some point, I don't want somebody coming after us.
I don't know. I want people to come after us, right, Mary Lou? The journalism's coming out, right?
There's always a Chewy and there's always a Lobo.
There you go.
I will agree with that somehow. That is very true.
I'm all like, what's up, Lobo? And I'm like, every fucking day. So there's always a Chewy and a Lobo, and they're always up to no good. Except for sometimes, because most of the time, like Chewy and Lobo, those are always the fun ones, though.
They are. I have plenty of friends that are called Chewy, and they're all fun.
It's always one of those, shut the fuck up, Chewy. But you just laugh the entire time. So,
also, I don't know why I said Chewy at the same time when I should say Chewy, like properly.
So.
You can say it the way you do, but I'm saying for me,
Mary Lou, don't take that crap from George.
I'm sorry.
George, I need you to calm that down.
Toma culero.
Sorry. I'm just trying to go too hard, too fast.
Let's see what you did there.
There you go.
So
what happened after that place then, that shady ass place?
Okay, after that shady ass place, I went to the Tower of the Americas in this chart house. Yeah, you're like, look, I'm up at the top, and my family was like, look at Mary, she's
so you look down upon all of us then, is that what you did?
And I need you to know that I was fucking miserable looking down. I was like, man, I want to be looking up with everybody else. I hated that place.
Really? Why?
Like being
Worm just wants the Chisme.
Yeah,
I got you. Like being a woman in this industry.
It's what the people want. You know what I want? You understand? Your minor was communication. You study journalism.
Yes,
that's what I'm trying to do for the people.
Look at you, caring for others. But I appreciate the Tower for what they did for me because they made me a stronger person. But they only made me a stronger person because of how shitty that place was. Like I hated.
Yeah, it wasn't intentional, right? It was.
We lost it.
What's his name?
Are you a Spurs fan?
Yes.
Yeah. No. What team do you like?
I'm a no team person. I'm sorry.
All right. Well, San Antonio Spurs coach Popovich. So his name's Popovich. They have the same hair, so I just call him Pop.
Just call him Pop. I was like, I used to be a Spurs fan, but then I stopped dating that boy, so then I wasn't a Spurs fan anymore.
Oh, sure. Who are you dating? Sure. You know what? George, you're recording? All right.
It's been recording, yeah.
I wasn't
dating. What Spurs team were you dating?
I wasn't dating a member from the Spurs team, just the guy I was with just really liked the Spurs.
I
am. I used to be a Patriots fan, and then when I stopped dating him, like I wasn't a Patriots fan either. I'm still
Tom Brady, or what? You're dating Tom Brady?
Nah, man. Like if I could, I wouldn't. I'd never let that go. I'd be running in bloody shoes. Yeah.
He's over there.
Yeah. I'm actually wearing some Tom Brady shoes right now.
Oh, look at you.
A little bit of Uggs.
Oh, come on, 7
Keep my feet warm.
Little 7-ring action.
Man, disappointed me. I thought you were dating a Spurs player.
So sorry. No, I'm not dating a Spurs player. And now, like, a lot of them come up to, like, Whiskey Cake.
Oh, shit. A lot of Spurs player? Nice.
Yes, there's been a couple times where, like, Ginobili comes up there and, like, he would come up and it's just like, are you trying to be incognito? Because he would, like, stand on something real tall and then he would, like, stand up and stretch. And I'm like, so now there's this 8-foot man standing around stretching. And he's like, no one's noticed me yet. Let me just hit him with this. Holy shit, that's Ginobili.
I like Ginobili dudes.
We get a good amount of them. And I think it's because we're so close to the Dominion, and I think that's where they all live.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. That's the rumor that they all live up there.
They got money
hey, so let's get back to the Tower of the Americas. I think they probably heard this Chisme. They hacked it, and that's what happened. But
lost connection.
You know what? Don't let that discourage you. So Tower of the Americas, why was that such a shitty place?
Like the turnover rate was ridiculous, but I'm there, and like all the cooks were taking bets on how long I would last.
Oh wow! Were you a manager there, or just?
No, I was the sous chef over there. So after that, after Papado, all the rest of my stuff is like strictly back of the house. I'm like, I don't want to do front of house. I'm good in the back. So it's like.
Let me ask, because I don't know. What does sous chef mean?
Yeah. What are the levels? Because we don't know.
So there's like executive chef, which you run the kitchen, and then the sous chef right underneath the executive chef. So you're like his like first-hand men or ladies. And then after that, you have the cooks that are in the kitchen. So I'm pretty much telling the cooks what to do. Nice. But I'm not the boss. Like the executive chef is the one that's the boss, and he tells me what to do. So he'll make my schedule and, pretty much.
So like on the show, and we're going to get to Hell's Kitchen eventually, but on the show, so it would be like, I'm just trying to picture it because I really don't know. It would be Gordon Ramsay, the executive chef, and then like the team members, like you were on Team Red. So the girl, I forget her name, and I'm sorry. Christina? Mm-hmm. So Chef Christina.
Sous chef.
She will be the sous chef, and then you guys are the cooks there?
Yes, that is 100% what it is.
Okay, cool. It makes it better for me because I've been watching the show nonstop.
Nonstop. It's a rolling, not a stopwatch. It don't ever stop.
I binged it as soon as you said you were gonna come on. I was like, I don't. Actually, I've never watched the show ever until
Me
you.
neither.
But so we're gonna get into how you got into all that. But yeah, I mean, I watched it because I was like, San Antonio girl, I'm gonna watch it. And then I was like, I wonder if she'll be down for the podcast. And so thanks. Here we are.
Hey, thanks for joining.
We made it.
And so now back to the chisme of the Towers of Americas.
Like I would make bets on how long I would last, but like being a girl in the industry is already like difficult. And then me being younger than everybody else, and then me being a pretty girl at that, it's like, you know, you meet those guys over there like, hey girl, what's going on? And I'm like, Lupe, stop fucking talking. No, I don't want you. No, leave me alone. But it's like you make them mad and then they make your life a living hell. So it just started to be really difficult for me to try to like uphold the standards that I thought we needed to have when the entire kitchen's against me. And we used to have this one guy and he like pretty much was like over the executive chef and he would talk to me all the time. And not in like a way where it's like, oh man, I think you're fine, I'm gonna get with you. It would like, we would both be on the elevator together and people would see us get off the elevator and they're like, what was Mary and this guy talking about? And I was like, we just got on the elevator at the same time. He asked me how my day was. But they're like, Mary's talking to this guy, you're betraying all of us. And I was like, how am I betraying anybody? Because I'm talking to the boss. They're like, yeah, well, Eric ended up getting in trouble because you said this stuff. And I was like, I didn't say anything. It's not my fault that the boss came in the kitchen and saw things that he didn't want to see, but everything was like my fault. And everybody would get upset with me. And I was like, I don't want to fucking deal with this mentality that you got going on. Plus like dealing with sexual harassment that's going on every day. But it's like, do you say something or do you not say anything? Because you don't want it to go too far, but you don't want to lose your job, but you don't want the guys to think that you can't take a joke, but you don't want the joke to go too far and somebody ends up getting hurt. So eventually, like, they did this thing, it's called flooding the window, which is just what it says. We have a window of food and they'll flood it full of food. So all you do is you get mixed up and you sell the wrong food to the wrong tables. And so like they flood the window, I'm going and I'm just going as fast as I can, trying to sell the food, make sure all the specs are right. And one of the guys says something in Spanish and everybody laughs. And then I remember I went to the cooler, which is upstairs. And then I just cried. And then after I cried, I wiped my eyes upstairs and I cursed everybody out because I was so mad. And then after that, everybody had a lot more respect for me.
Oh, wow.
Do you know what he said?
Not at all. I can't remember to this day. That was like 6 years ago. And I was like, I don't care what you said. I just know that you said, he's like, we're just playing around, Mary. And I was like, I don't give a fuck if you're playing around or not. You either want to be here or you don't. You can go get another job. It like gets to that point where you're just like, I will do your job just because I don't want you here. I'll make my life harder because at the end of the day, it's going to be easier when you're gone. Yeah. And so I think the guy that, but then they started to have more respect for me. But by that time, I was ready to go ripped to get up out of there. And then I found myself at Whiskey Cake, and I've been there for the past almost 4 years.
Well, here's the thing. Like this podcast is meant to like broaden perspectives and not only like just tell your story and your story right now as a woman in an industry that, like you said, is
a male-dominated industry.
Thank you. I didn't want to say it because I felt weird saying it. I don't know. I don't know why I felt weird saying it, but it is. Our thing having females coming onto the podcast, we always ask, like, in your industry, how do you feel, and how do you think that we can fix that? Like, if people are listening, we're not changing people's minds. We're just trying to tell people.
Going to educate people.
From your perspective. Yeah, exactly. Like, because that's the only way they're going to learn is listening from somebody else's perspective. So from your end, how do we make this better? Like, how do we just how would have your experience would have been better, I guess?
How do we get rid of the assholes? Gosh, there you go.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
The best way to get rid of it is going to be just to address it. A lot of times, like, you can pull everybody together and have a whole conversation with everyone, but then that's just singling someone out. Where it's like, that's how you get that mob mentality where it's like, we're in trouble because of this one person. But if I could easily go up to one person who said whatever it is that they said, and just let them know, I didn't like that you said that. This is why. And it'll squash it. Instead of it, instead of you saying something in front of a bunch of people, like everybody else is just like she's trying to embarrass me. Like I'm going to get my buddies around, but you talk to them one-on-one, like there's no egos involved, but nobody wants to look like the bad guy. So you're going to get everybody behind you. But it's just something that really does need to be addressed in the industry. And there's a bunch of women pages for it. Like it's like you said, it's a male dominated industry, and we just need to be more worldly and more understanding. So I'll have my guys my guys don't do it, but it's like you'll work with a bunch of guys and they'll tell all the like sexist jokes and whatnot. And like, if they're going to say a joke, I'm going to say a joke right back. It's like, you want to talk about like your dick size, and I'm going to talk about something that goes wrong with my breast. And I'm like, say shit about it. And they're like, Mary, you started that shit. Don't start one, won't be none. But
hey, well, that's the thing too. Like, I want to like, there's a time where it's like, when does it stop being a joke? And that's a good conversation to have. Like, when is the joke not a joke anymore? Because obviously, like you said, if somebody's gonna talk about their boop, boop, and you're gonna talk about your, what did you call it on your show, on the show, your fun muffins? Can I say that? Is that what that's what you call? Okay.
My fun muffins that everybody saw. It's just like
Warm, you owe her $20 because you saw the episode.
I know.
Yeah, and they
you
were
remember that? You remember saying that?
That was the episode I was on last night, and it's like everybody owes me $20.
Everybody who saw my fun muffins, y'all all owe me $20.
I'm still waiting. I put it on my Cash App, and I was like, y'all owe me. So Cash App, let's use the honor system.
All right, hey, give out your Cash App. That way people can send you $20. Say it out.
$ Mary Lou 13. That's it. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. $20.
Send her $20 right now.
All right. Send you $20.
I'll give you my credit. But okay, let's talk about that. You know, strong opinions, broad in perspectives. When does the joke is not a joke anymore?
It's like you have to educate the masses what's able to be said and what's not able to be said, because we all need to make sure that we're equals in this. So if you're going to have an inappropriate conversation with your friend, you don't need to have an inappropriate conversation with your friend for the entire staff to hear. It's like, I'm talking to this one person, I'm going to pull you aside, I'm going to talk about it. But it's when to have tact and when to not speak about things out loud. Like, you wouldn't talk about this in front of your family, so why are you talking about it in front of me? It's inappropriate. It's something that's going to make me feel another way. But if you can just understand that there are other people around you, then it makes everything a lot easier. And it's really an older mentality. Like, you get a lot of the newer people from the past like 5 years that have been in the restaurant industry or that are starting here, and they all understand. Like, I don't deal with that at all at my restaurant. And even when I got there, that's not anything that I had dealt with. It was a different mentality. Like, anybody that's going to talk about this or anybody that's gonna make somebody feel uncomfortable don't need to be a part of the staff. That's the old mentality.
And then, do you feel like you as a chef, being female, are not given the same opportunities as a male? And I say this, and I should preface this, like, I always say, or at least and this could be ignorant and bad on my own part, but when I think chef, I always think female. And that could be my own, like, am I wrong thinking that as well?
You're not wrong thinking that, but that's pretty much the way that you were raised, right? With your mom in the kitchen?
Grandma? Yeah.
Yeah, your mom.
Yeah, and it's different because it's like barbecue, man, everything else, woman.
Absolutely. That's just what you see, because the tough thing to do is to get the meat and throw it on the grill. But
right.
Mom's inside cooking everything.
The good stuff. Like the actual good stuff with flavor. Like, anybody can throw meat on the grill, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. But
one of the girls that I work with, there's only a couple girls. So there's one girl in the morning, and her name's Maria, and she runs my line. And I love when she cooks for me. I'll make like all my little fancy dishes, and she's like, muy bien, Mary, so good, so good. I'm like, thank you, Maria. But then I'm like, what are you doing over there? She's like, I'm making flautas. And I was like, oh, hell yeah. We getting flautas today, Maria? And she's like, yeah. And I'll be like eating her food and I'm dancing at the same time. She made me this one like salsa, and it was like the color of blood. And I was that it was the spiciest shit that I had ever eaten in my entire life. And it was like water. And I was like, what is this, Maria? And she's like, es poquito pico. And I was like, okay, just a little spicy, that's fine. And I was like, you don't put me in the menopause with this shit. I'm having a hot. So it's like the mom, the woman, like she's in the kitchen making all the things, but like the mentality is like the strong man is gonna throw the meat on the grill because he killed that meat and he's gonna do all these things.
Hell yeah.
But it's like,
yeah, and I think, and the way I see it is like the kitchen is nurture, like that nurture, like flavor, everything like is made with love, whatever. And then the barbecue meat on the grill is like a party, like guy stuff. We're gonna get rowdy.
Yeah, the meat on the grill is like bang, bang, flip, toss, done. But like in the kitchen, time, patience, seasonings. I always tell her, I was like, did you add all of your love to it? And every time she makes me something, she's like, todo amor, todo amor, todo amor. And I'm like, thank you, Maria, because I can taste it.
Nice. That's awesome.
So going back, like you think there's a shift, maybe like you're getting more opportunities, or still there has to be a lot of change happening?
There still has to be change, but it's getting better. I am the only female chef in my company.
Oh, damn.
I'm the only female chef, and then like we had one of our chefs put in his 2 weeks, so
Hey,
now
cheers to that.
chef. We drink it today. Hey!
Hey, cheers to that. Well,
I did it silently, so I already drank.
we shouldn't, because that's a bad thing, but I mean, at least you're hopefully paving the way.
Well, I have some type of representation, but it's like I'm the only female chef in my company. I'm the only black chef in my company, and I'm the youngest one in the company.
Dang. Triple win.
I know, I'll be hitting them. And it's like, I know it really baffles me because I see a lot of like my male counterparts doing a bunch of things that I know that I couldn't do. And I don't mean as in like I'm a man, so like I'm picking up something heavy. I mean, like if I did that shit, I'd get fired. Why do you get to do that? So all this stuff, it still happens, and you need somebody's eyes to be open. So right now we have a new CEO, and he like came over, he's talking to all the chefs one-on-one, and we're all over. So there's like 2 in Houston, 2 in Dallas, 1 in Tampa, 1 in OKC. I'm the only one that's in San Antonio, and we're in like our own little island. So I think that's why I end up getting this job, is because my GM is actually my old GM from Papado. So he knows how I work.
Nice.
So then like I worked as the stew, and then he's like, Mary, you'll be a good CDC. And I'm like, I mean, I'll try for it if you think I'll be good at it. So like, he's really good and he's uplifting, but if I go anywhere else in the company, I just don't feel as supported because I'm a woman, and also because I don't have, it's the family. And it's really funny because when you think of like chefs, you think of like, chefs are like rock stars now, it's like they're all playboys. They're just fucking a bunch of bitches, making money, cooking food. Like I'm doing all
Is that what you're doing?
you don't need to know my nightlife. But it's like I don't have that family, and all the other chefs, they have like the wife and the kids, and then there's Mary, who likes to go to Comic-Con.
Too hard, too fast.
No, they're not ready for it. So it's like I'm asking for Halloween off, and they're like, "Hey, well, I have to do this with my kid. You chose to have kids. That's your fault. I asked for it off first. I want to go hang out and do like hood rat shit with my friends. So you're just gonna get drunk, and."
Yeah, that's true. That's your choice. It's your life.
Hey, you're gonna go and like ask strangers for candy. That's your fault. I'm gonna go get drunk with people I know and strangers.
So wait. So after Tower of America, is that the opportunity that came, or
yes,
what was after Tower of the Americas that led you to that point?
Then it was Whiskey Cake. So it's like,
all right, 2H2Fers, we're gonna pause the conversation here. Thank you to Standard Proof Whiskey for sponsoring this episode with Mary Lou Davis, Part 1. Remember, check out standardproofwhiskey.com. They ship right to your door. Mary Lou Davis, we're going to get more into Hell's Kitchen in Part 2, coming out Thursday. Worm, what are you going to say?
Hey, go get Mary Lou $20. Mary Lou 12 on CashApp.
Give me my money.
Give her money, goddamn.
Okay.
Yeah. If you're watching season 19, you know why. And you better be watching season 19 of Hell's Kitchen.
Hell yeah.
With that said, remember, dare to be you, dare to be weird. Bye.